first couple of games, you always get into that scenario where guys are like, let's get this guy, let him get his feet underneath him and until he gets comfortable, kind of thing. But I think it was more so just a situation where we had to play better as a team, and you know, it just kind of coincided when Quicker went down, and you know, everybody has the utmost confidence in Jonathan Quick and what his abilities are, and he's proven it time and time again. So we're not concerned about that.
Were you one of the first to see Martin, like as far as evaluate?
Well, I knew Marty just from playing at North Shore Winter Club. My nephew played there, and you know, the reputation was there, and I think the issue that we had is we didn't know a lot about Marty. We saw him a little bit with the hitman, but he wasn't playing a lot at that point. And but for me, pedigree, resume sometimes comes into play, and all I knew about this kid was that he won at every level, and I just felt with his size and such a strong technical package that he already had in his game, that this is something that that I felt comfortable, that I thought was a real good challenge to work with somebody like that. And you know, it's easy for myself or Kim to try and take credit for it, but it's the goalies that do the work, and we just try and push the buttons a little bit, I guess is the best way to put it. We have an expectation of hard work and attention to detail, and we try and find the goalies that have the demeanor and you know, the mindset to work that way.
Dean has mentioned a couple times that composure has been such a big improvement with Marty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into it too much. I've always been comfortable with Marty's game and his composure. You know, any time throughout your career, you're going to go through some ups and downs, especially as a young individual at the pro level, and you know, being away from the structure of whether you're living at home or billeting, and now you're out on your own. There's always going to be times where you have to deal with some adversity, and you know, the one thing, good or bad, he's always been a very composed goalie. You know, he very rarely gets rattled about anything, even when he's not playing necessarily well. And that's, I think, just a strong component of what he's about.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead. He has not. I mean, he's refused to get too high, or else if he is, he's doing a very good job of hiding.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the, you know, it's no different than you know, when Ben was put into this situation to become our #1 guy. It's not about you know, he won 3 or 4 in a row, and I'm like, it's not about winning. You have to realize that you have to be ready to go for the long haul here. It's not about, look what I've done now. It's what you need to do to make yourself a consistent and reliable goalie in this league. You know, and if you want to be a #1 guy and have the confidence of your organization, you have to have that consistency and that detail in your game every night, because that's how you get through the ups and downs, is by having detail in your game, and not just because you're playing well be on top of the world and forget about what you have to do to continue to be successful in the hard work that you put in to get to where you are. So
had that been slipping a little bit? Because I know when I'm talking to Daryl, you know, he said that there were things that were slipping into his game. Is that something that you saw negative aspects perhaps in the St. Louis game, or was it in the Calgary game?
To be honest with you, I don't think it was probably previous to that, and his game is, you know, where I don't necessarily think they were starting to slip, but there just wasn't that as much detail, and you know, and you don't want it to snowball, and I think he's on the upswing again, and that's where we need him to be.
When you say detail, is it just being sharp and concise with movements?
Movements, post save, no delay in his post save. You know, have rhythm to the game. You know, just the habits of what you do in order to get into your spots, like you said, edge control. For me, that goes a long way. I'm not a overly technical guy. You know, if there's a technical deficiency, yeah, then you attack it. But I'm more about detail and work ethic. That's been the approach of Kim and I since we took over here 8 years ago.
You might have touched on it right there, but would you be able to put a percentage on, for instance, Scrivens, it appears to me, has a different style than Jones. As a guy who's consulting with them and talking to them, how much do you put your game on them, or how much do you back off and fine-tune their game? Or, you know?
My philosophy is simple from a technical standpoint, and I say this all the time. If things that you're doing are costing us hockey games, I will step in and change them. Other than that, I'm just working with, it's like a piece of clay, and you're just trying to mold it and make it better. But you know, if you look at the goalies that have gone through here, it's not the only cookie cutter part of the LA King goalies I look at it as attention to detail work habits. There's been just a blend of, you know, Quickie, the athletic, Bernier, the stand-up, you know, kind of a blend. You know, Jeff Zadkoff, a little bit more butterfly, but, you know, and now you got the, you know, so there's been a huge variance in how guys hold their stick, how deep in their stance they are. We don't believe in a cookie cutter goalie, but the important that whenever we bring a new goalie in, the first thing we talk about is habits and detail. First thing, we don't even look at technical. Don't even start there. We, you know, I met with the pitching coach with the Dodgers this summer, and the thing that they always talked about is, you know, it's starting from the bottom, just basic habits with their pitchers, and they don't even look at technical. They just start with habits. And once they get the habits where and then they start looking at little tiny details of what they do, and you know, that's when I kind of figured that Kim and I are heading in the right direction of how we approach our guys.
Bill, and you and Kim have had the opportunity to work with Martin Jones for a few years now. I don't know if there's anything in particular you can identify, but in what ways has he made the most progress in terms either technically or otherwise?
Urgency in his game. Flexibility has always been a big part, and then being able to come outside of the box, you know, and compete on pucks. When he was in Calgary, he didn't have to do it, so we didn't really know if he could, you know, because he didn't ever have to. They had such a real strong team in front of him, and that was the biggest thing that he had to learn, that, you know, there are times that you have to come outside of the technical box and throw a pad, throw a stick, throw your glove at it, whatever it takes to stop the puck, and those are three areas that he's just grown immensely, and can continue to get better at.
Now, had your nephew, you said your nephew played with him, or
no,
was
just
that,
at the club at North Shore Winter Club. You know, so and it was actually Crow's Mark Crawford's son that they grew up playing together.
Oh, really?
As Marty was the number one and Crow's son was the number two most of the time.
Wow.
So that's where, so, you know, when Crow approached me about him, and you know, that's where we knew the resume that was already there, that this guy's won it. And through my nephew, you know, just talking and stuff, I knew that that he had been successful at.
You said at every level, you know.
Yeah, at every level, like you know, the bantam, midget, you know, junior level, he'd won at all those levels. So it's, you know, the resume's there, and now it doesn't always guarantee as you go through the history of players that have come along, but we are at a point where we needed somebody, and I just liked his professionalism right off the bat. He was the type of kid that was in the gym, you know, stretching, getting prepared for practice, and didn't really know anybody, you know, but his professional approach for a kid out of junior that was still playing junior hockey at the time on a tryout, that really impressed me about him, and that went a long way as far as, you know, that I think this guy has the mind that he wants to be a pro and can be a pro, and now he's proven it.